Hello, Jesse Good here, and I don't know about you, but minifigures are my favorite parts of LEGO sets. So to celebrate 50,000 subscribers, I'm counting down my top 15 favorite LEGO minifigures of all time. No, not just collectible minifigures, but any type of minifigure. Big or small, mini goal or not, I'm just going to be listing my favorites. These are my personal favorites, not the ones I think are the best. So they could be a totally crappy minifigure that I like based on looks, nostalgia, or whatnot. So without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, and wait, I forgot to mention, all music tracks used will be listed in the bottom right corner as they play. So, now let's get into this. And starting off my list of favorite minifigures is the original Darth Vader from 1999. This is the same copy I had growing up, and it was just so cool getting the most iconic movie villain of all time as this little tiny LEGO minifigure. Actually, it was kind of funny, you know? But also very awesome, because then we could have our own little lightsaber duels with the coolest villain ever. I don't know. I really love that little feature, and when I was younger, dang, I would have the best little play battles and everything like that. Other than that, I just love the detail they put into the molded helmets as well. It's something that they actually kept all the way up until last year. I still haven't tried the new version of Darth Vader, but still, I'll try it out someday. Either way, the Darth Vader minifigure is something that means a lot for LEGO's history, as well as something that means a lot to me, so I really love this minifigure. Next up is the LEGO Studios Vampire from 2002, which he appeared in the Vampire's Crypt set. Now this is definitely my favorite LEGO Vampire, though Lord Vampire is definitely an honorable mention. I really like how he came out in a lot of the other Monster Fight minifigures. And honestly, I just like LEGO monsters as a whole, and this vampire specifically, I think is just the best interpretation of a vampire, because of one thing that sets him apart from others, and that's his hair. The hair piece, I don't know why they haven't used this on any other LEGO vampires, but it just fits him so much better than that newer Widow's Peak hair. Also, the other reason why I love this minifigure so much is nostalgia. You can see I played with him a lot when I was growing up, especially because of that tattered cape right there. And that's for a reason. I just love that cape piece. And it's one of the few minifigures that had a cape like this back in the day. It's actually gotten to the point where it's broken on mine. I love the details on him, I love how he has a double-sided face, love the hair piece, and overall it's just my favorite of the LEGO monsters besides one other one, and you'll see that later on in the video. So my 13th favorite minifigure of all time is the LEGO Jester Castle minifigure from 2009. Look, the first version of this was actually from 2008. It was from an advent calendar. I drooled and drooled at the picture. I wanted it so bad, but I couldn't get it because it was never released in the United States. So in 2009, my eyes just lit up once I heard that they were making a version in the Drawbridge defense. And this one had a double-sided face with a crying minifigure face, something you don't get often. So I fell in love with that set. It's actually one of my favorite sets of all time. It has so many good minifigures, like the Golden Knight and the Queen, but I digress, because the Jester minifigure just looks so fun. I love the duality of the colors here. I always love a symmetrical duality kind of a representation on stuff. So I love how they kind of put half red and then half blue. It just looks so good. Then they released the following version in the following year, which was two different colors, white and red, or well, really one different color. And that one looks great because white is a good complement to red. And they released a version in the Collectible Minifigures Series 12, which probably has the best hat printing, but this one also has cool colors, including purple, which is my favorite color of all time, you guys know that. So that's really it for the Jester minifigures. And my 12th favorite minifigure of all time is Benny from the LEGO movie sets. When the first pictures of LEGO movie sets showed up, there was a noticeable absence of Benny. But then in the Seacal set, we got him, and then in a little bit of a cheaper set, we got him in the Spaceship set. And I love this interpretation of the character. It's basically spot on. I wouldn't expect them to release a character that's based on a damaged minifigure, but hey, they did it perfectly. They even made a new head mold, or helmet mold that's damaged, as well as kind of scuffed up printing on his torso. I love that detailing. All that makes it so cool because it's like super nostalgic. I'm not even a Castle fan, but it makes it look vintage, I guess is the best word for it. So I love all of that, and I just love the design of him. I love his big happy face, and then his alternate face that is just a regular smiley face. Also, the one in the double-decker couch set is really cool because he has a little heart-warmed face, which I think is adorable. So yeah, Benny's just a great minifigure. And my 11th favorite minifigure of all time is the LEGO Bart Simpson collectible minifigures. Now look, the first version is just a really good representation of America's favorite mischievous child. I love the dual molded sleeves and legs, which were really big innovations at the time, as well as the molded head, which is just a perfect proportion. He just looks really, really good. And then the second version is Bartman, a very odd choice, but they basically improved off the first version by having the correct color shirt, in my opinion. I love the purple colors on his mask. It's kind of an obscure character, but purple is my favorite color, so I'm just a sucker for this version. And instead of having a printed slingshot, which the one from the first version was really good because the printing just lined up flawlessly, this time he had a molded slingshot, which was still a nice addition. So that's all for these minifigures. The 10th entry on my list is the LEGO Dimensions Doc Brown minifigure. Back to the Future is one of my favorite films of all time, and as a child I always thought it would be cool if they did a Back to the Future line. And then we got one in 2013, just one set. And I was like, the Doc Brown minifigure looks so cool. I wish they had a new hairpiece for him. And then, this year, they released a new hairpiece as a part of a LEGO Dimensions fun pack. Now, I like everything about this minifigure. That's it. It's just a perfect representation of Christopher Lloyd's character from Back to the Future. And I love the receding hairline, which is a totally new hair mold, which was really cool that they went above and beyond just to do that in a $15 set. The goofy facial expression is perfect, and it fits the eccentric kind of personality that Doc Brown has in the movies. And this is one of the minifigures that I'm going to be displaying for a while, just putting it next to my Back to the Future Time Machine set. It's one that I like more for accuracy than nostalgia, and that's okay because this is one of the most accurate minifigures based on a movie character, I think, ever. Alright guys, so like I said, I love Halloween. I freaking love Halloween. But you know what I like just a little bit more? Christmas, alright? And that's why the next entry on my list is a LEGO Santa Claus minifigure from Collectible Minifigures Series 8. Now look, this version is just a definitive version of LEGO Santa. A new hat mold that's just perfect. I love Christmas little Santa hats. And that's something that you could use on different minifigures. It uses a newer beard mold and just these great kind of printing on the torso and everything like that. That's all good, and it's basically an update of one of my favorite minifigures from my childhood, which was the Santa minifigure. I had one on a keychain at first, and then later on I got one in a City Advent calendar from 2005, which is the version you see right here. But this is just the definitive version of Santa, the Series 8 version, because it looks so perfect. They actually used it for subsequent releases, and that's something they don't really do with collectible minifigures because it kind of lowers the collectability, but it was used in Advent calendars and some different sets. My favorite version is probably the one in the Santa's Workshop set because it comes with this really cool red bag. I just love this minifigure so much. The 8th entry on my list is the LEGO Pretzel Girl. This is the cutest minifigure of all time. Look at that little grid. Can you say no to that grid? No, you can't. Alright, it's just adorable, okay? She has a great hairpiece as well, which I wish would get used in different colors, but this version is just a perfect color. Love her little torso and her shoe printing because I'm a sucker for shoe printing. And she also comes with a little pretzel and a skirt. A skirt that's super cute. Alright guys, this is just a cute minifigure, okay? I love this girl. My next entry on my list is a classic LEGO Ghost from the 90s. I love the 90s and I love this minifigure. I used to love ghosts growing up. They would scare me, but I always had a strange fascination with the paranormal, and honestly, this is just a friendly ghost. He has a smiley face on him. But no, that's more of a reference to the classic LEGO face, which were just smiley faces. Now, I love all of that, and I also love the fact that it glows in the dark. It's actually just one whole hood, or kind of hood piece that goes over the body, which I think is a pretty nice kind of mold. And then they even updated this for 2012 in the Monster Fighters theme, and I love this version as well, but it's just not as nostalgic to me, and I wish I would have kept him happy. But I guess since it is a totally different mold with new variation, and like I said, new variation isn't bad, it's good that they made him kind of a frowning ghost with there was also this little pointy part in the back, which makes him more ghost-like. Both are glow in the dark, and both are awesome. I love LEGO Ghosts. So my 6th favorite minifigure of all time is the LEGO Homer Simpson minifigure, and I'm talking about the one from Series 1. It's just a perfect rendition of one of my favorite TV characters. The molded head was necessary for all the Simpsons characters because their head proportions are so out of whack and different from each other. So I really like that they went that route, despite what other people think. So I think that's perfect, and the printing and detailing on him, it carries all the way around to the top of his headpiece, to the sides, and even has 2 little ears. It's just perfect. Now the printing on his torso is very simple, and I think that's all it needed to be, simple, because he's a cartoon character. In the show it's not so detailed, and here it doesn't have to be so detailed. And the introduction of the dual molded sleeves is perfect as well. No printing on his legs, that's alright. I mean, boots would have been kind of cool, but I didn't expect them to do it, at least back then. And it just looks perfect how it is. So I love this LEGO minifigure, and I don't care what other people think. He's just one of my favorites. The one from the house set is also really good because I love his work outfit, especially for his tie, which has some really cool colors on it. And then the Sunday Best one, I can't really say that's one of my favorites. So that's it for the Homer Simpson minifigure. So my fifth favorite minifigure of all time is the LEGO Buzz Lightyear minifigure. Everything they did about this minifigure, I think they did correctly, and a lot of what I'm going to say about him is the same thing I said about Homer, because he's one of my favorite animated characters that they translated perfectly into LEGO. Now, they made a total of 5 new molds, which is really generous for a LEGO minifigure, but I think all 5 of them are really necessary to capture the character. I can't imagine Buzz without a molded head, and they used them to the extent where he doesn't lose the LEGO feel. You still look at him and you say, okay, that's a LEGO minifigure. And I think that's really hard to do on minifigures, but LEGO does it a lot, which is a good thing. And I love all 5 of the new molds, and then the printing on his torso they really didn't need to add, but it's perfect and I like it, as well as the printing on his legs. The minifigure head just alone looks kind of creepy on a minifigure body, but for the minifigure head on the little torso and everything like that, the body armor piece, it just looks perfect. So I love this minifigure, and I'm glad that I could see one of my favorite childhood characters in LEGO form. So that makes me really happy. And my fourth favorite minifigure of all time is Woody from the Toy Story line. I love what they did to set this minifigure apart from others to make it more accurate. They gave him long arms, long legs, and a new head mold. All these new molds, make me so happy. It just looks so good. It still looks like a LEGO minifigure, but it looks like Woody from the movies. And I've said that with Homer, and I said that with Buzz, but really I love these kind of different characters with molded heads, even though a lot of people don't like them. For me, it makes it a little bit more interesting for licensed themes. The only reason Woody is higher than any of those other ones is because not only do I like the character of Woody more in the Toy Story films, but also I think they did it the best with Woody than, say, Buzz or Homer. My third favorite minifigure of all time is Johnny Thunder. Now, I love the legacy that Johnny Thunder has. He started off with the Egypt line in the late 90s and then ended with the Orient Expedition line in the 2000s. And I love that he made a cameo in a LEGO movie set as an updated version, and that one looks so good, and I love that they updated him. But my favorite version is the original version from the Egypt line, because that's the one that we used the most growing up. Now, basically, my brother and I used to play this RPG game of LEGO in real life, and we would play around with LEGO minifigures. And looking back at this minifigure, it just reminds me of those simpler times. We're adults now, we have our own lives, but you know, it was fun playing with LEGO at one point in time. And Johnny Thunder was really the basis for my brother's character, and that's why it's really nostalgic to me. So that's it for this one. And my second favorite minifigure of all time is Pepperoni from the LEGO Island Extreme Stunts line. Now, this character was introduced later on in this RPG game that I used to play with my brother, but this was my character. And that's when I started to shift focus that I was the player of the game, and he would kind of set up the stories and everything like that. So what happened was, I was for once the first player of a game. I would always be Tails, or I would always be Luigi, always second, but this was my break. This was my big break, and that's why Pepperoni is so sentimental to me, and that's why it's one of my favorite minifigures of all time. It's because, you know, for once, it was a character that I created, and that makes me so happy, and it makes me so nostalgic looking back at it. So it's really a sentimental thing more than just an aesthetical thing, and that's it for this entry. And my favorite minifigure of all time is Twitch from the LEGO Toy Story line. He only appeared in one set, the Garbage Truck Getaway set, but he is my favorite. He's my channel mascot. He is the representation of Just Too Good. Why though? Well, there's 3 reasons. The first reason is because I was the first one to find pictures of the set. Now, this isn't really a big deal if I did this now, but back then, that was my first taste of the LEGO news world. It helped me gain a little bit of a reputation, and it also inspired me to do more LEGO news stuff, which I do now, of course. And the second reason is because the minifigure himself just looks freaking awesome. They didn't have to make 3 new molds for the figure, but they did, and it makes me happy that they did that for an obscure minifigure in one retail exclusive set. And the last reason is because he reminds me of you guys. He's my channel mascot, and looking at him reminds me of my channel, which reminds me of all the support I get, whether it's a comment, a like, or a view, or whatever. And I'm so glad I get that support. It cheers me up, it makes me feel happy, and I'm glad that I can make other people happy, because I love seeing other people happy. So thank you for getting me to 50,000 subscribers. It means so much. And you guys can post your little thoughts or your little lists of favorite minifigures in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.